Probably after reading this title, you guys have a lot of questions to ask, and I'm here today to answer all of them. Hey guys, welcome back to How SS channel. My name is Ivan, and today we are looking at this NZXT BLD desktop and why do I think this is the best pre-built deal this holiday season. Let me start with a real backstory. A couple weeks ago, around Thanksgiving, NZXT had this build desktop on promo. They had 10% off around Black Friday. But what made it interesting, it was the most interesting thing with this desktop, obviously, and you probably already noticed, is this right here. We have the RTX3080 Founders Edition coming with this pre-built computer. And this is what makes it the best pre-built computer this year. And you probably already know what I'm gonna say, because this graphics card costs currently on the secondary market more than the entire configuration. So this one costed around $1,800 around that time with a promotional code. Currently actually being sold for around $1,900, so it's not that bad. Again, I still believe it's the best deal at the moment, considering the hardware. But yeah, at the time it was $1,800 with a promotional code, and you have Intel Core i5 11400F, 16 gigabytes of 3200 MHz DDR4 RAM, 1 terabyte of Nvme storage, 850 watt Seasonic Focus 80 plus Gold, semi-modular power supply. We have MSI Z590 motherboard, this beautiful NZXT 510 Flow, which obviously if you are aiming to buy this computer, please get the Flow one. You have a mesh front and it's so much better. But we're gonna look at all these details. And of course, at the end, you have the RTX 3080 Founders Edition. And if those of you have been like me, waiting to buy this card for the last 16 months now almost, I'm finally glad that I was able to get it, not on a scalper price, not 3 times the price or 4 times the price what they're currently going for. If you go to eBay and check out the Founders Edition 3080, prices are above $2,000, which is absolutely insane considering that the retail price for this card is $699 plus tax. Now, if we break down the individual prices of all the components, you get around $800 for everything minus the graphics card. And if you factor the graphics card, for some unbelievable reason, you were able to get it from Best Buy, which that's the only way you can get it. If you get it for retail on Best Buy, that's gonna cost you around $740, $750 with tax. So if we count everything together, this desktop comes around $1,600. So for the upcharge of $200, $250, that you're avoiding all the mess of trying to find a way to buy the graphics card or trying to go around and build your own desktop, I think it's absolutely worth it. The $200 upcharge that NZXT are charging you to get this beautiful desktop. And I know a lot of big channels been going super negative on the NZXT pre-builds, but I'm on the flip side. I look for the positives, and the positives are a lot. And I'm going to go into details and show you why this one is very good and why is the best pre-built desktop you can get this year. Hands down, again, just consider the fact that if you get the graphics card and decide to sell it for whatever reason on the secondary market, eBay or something, you can get all the money you spent for the whole desktop back to you and then put another graphics card or whatever you want to do. Personally, I'm excited to finally get RTX 3080 Founders Edition. You guys know I have the HP version from the Omen 30L that I bought last year, and this one has been serving me great, playing all the games with no problem. But the moment I saw the Founders Edition when it was announced last year, I absolutely loved it. I think it's the best design even today, the best size, the most futuristic looking one, the most different looking ones. My sympathies to all the AIBs, but their designs are rather boring and always the same. 2-3 fans, more lights, that's it. I know aesthetics, it's not something we are really allowed to complain about these days, considering the fact that these cars are non-existing on retail or normal pricing. But still, I like to mention it because this is the main attraction for me. This card looks absolutely beautiful, and for some specific builds probably is the best. And my idea, if you remember my older video for 30L, was to get one of those cards put it on 30L because the way the fans are situated here, we have one that is drawing from the bottom and dumps it on the top, and one that is pushing straight out. So for the 30L, this graphics card will absolutely do a killer job. Smaller build like that. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm gonna go into the details and show you everything about this desktop and what I think. I think building it, NZXT has done an incredible job. I did not notice any issues. And first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go in the back side. I'm gonna show you their cable management, and I'm gonna show you what they've done. And I'm pretty impressed with the work they've done, honestly. This is probably the best arranged cable managed pre-build I've seen. Another major plus is all the components are interchangeable. They're not proprietary like Dell, HP, or Lenovo. You're getting components that you actually can buy yourself. Well, technically you can buy yourself at retail and build it yourself. But this kind of desktop becomes a huge help for parents, relatives that just wanna give one to their kids for Christmas or something like that, and buy it all pre-built, ready to go. Pull it out on Christmas Day and just give it to the kids so they can play. All you need to do is just finish Windows install. There's no bloatware, there's nothing like that. The only thing there is NZXT Cam, but it's not running. You can uninstall it if you don't need it anyway, so off you go. From there, it's smooth sailing. You can add more storage, you can do any of that stuff. All right, so without me rambling anymore, let's go in and look at the details. I'll bring the camera closer so we can look at some of the things, and we'll talk about it. We're gonna start on the back and see what exactly NZXT has done. You can see the 850 watt Seasonic Focus power supply. And another thing you're gonna notice right away is these little stickers they put on the side. Kind of nice because this is outlining, and they have it on their user manual, all the steps you're gonna have to take first to get your computer running. Right here, and I'll remove the back panel for you guys. You can see the outstanding job they've done. Cable management, everything is tied up in the channels of the case. Really nice. Over here, the main 24-pin cable held with these hook and loop straps routed in the channel. All these other cables for the USB 3 on top, power cables, everything is routed nice and neat. Actually, like I said, this is probably the best cable management job I've seen from any pre-built computer or any OEM computer right there. Very nicely done. Everything seems well done. I see no problems. Backplate is done correctly. Everything else, we have two caddies here for extra storage, which I'm going to be utilizing. Plenty of space in the bottom for cables to kind of get tucked and away from it, no problem. So yeah, you see this chassis has been reused because this exact point right here, this cutout is from the regular NZXT 510, which is the only intake. Luckily, this is the flow. So we have a full front mesh. On the top, we have only one exhaust for fans, and in the front, we have the power button, the USB 3, USB-C, and single audio 3.5mm headphone jack combo with a microphone. But luckily, NZXT are giving us all the cables and accessories in the box. And speaking of the box, let me take you over to the box so you can see some of the things that I noticed right away. Now, a lot of people don't talk about that, but I'm gonna mention it right away. First of all, the desktop comes double boxed, and look at the thickness of this box. The outer shell box is double cardboard, very thick, very protective. Inside we have foam, actual foam, insulation foam, that it's kind of like soundproofing insulation foam. Very high quality, very nice. The packages contain all the accessories from the motherboard, graphics card, and power supply. I wish they were providing us with the actual physical boxes for the motherboard and graphics card, but I guess that would have made the package bigger and more expensive. I would have paid to get these boxes, but it is what it is. And they provided this quick start guide to kind of show you all the steps you need to follow to get your computer running. Very nice and very easy done and simple. So even people that are not familiar with computers too much, they can get them going super fast. And if I take these out of the way, you'll see then we have the secondary box for the actual desktop inside, and the black foam, very thick as well. Excellent packaging, I have to say. I'm impressed. I haven't seen this kind of package from any of the other OEM builds, HP, Lenovo, or Dell. None of them is supplying this kind of protection, and I'm absolutely happy that they're doing it, because this helps a lot. Now, if you look at the packaging real quick, all the screws are labeled, standoffs, everything else. This is the combination audio cable right here. Yeah, we have the antennas for the Wi-Fi because this motherboard features Wi-Fi. We have SATA cables, everything. We have the leftover from Deep Cool, that's the tower, and we have the NVIDIA, of course, right here. So all the things that were included in the original boxes are included in these packages. Again, I wish that we were getting the boxes because aside of the look of the graphics card, I absolutely love the box of the NVIDIA card. It looks very premium, very nice. Thick cable for the power supply. The rest of the power supply cables are included, everything else. So kudos for them giving you all these things. Of course, I checked all the cables if they're plugged correctly. I checked if they're plugged all the way, and I had no problem whatsoever. The computer started right away and was able to install Windows and run it and all that stuff, no problem. There's no rattle with the tower. Everything is done correctly. It works. The RGB on the fan works. The cables are routed intelligently. You'll see behind right here, tucked away. They're not dangling on the bottom or anything like that. Here's the memory, the T-Force memory, 3200 megahertz. The MSI motherboard, very nice with these heat sinks, very stylishly looking, very simple black and white scheme, so can't really complain here at all. So if we look at the bottom motherboard, we'll see that all the cables are plugged in correctly as well. No problems whatsoever. We have another spot for NVMe drive if we want to install another one. Heatsink over the chipset, and of course you can kind of see the power supply through the perforations at the bottom of the case right here. And one of the only things that I don't like about the 3080 and all the FE cards is that the NVIDIA changed this port, and it's kind of like in the middle of the card now. Not very aesthetically pleasing. And you have these adapter cables connecting to two PCI Express 8 cables for graphics cards right there. But here's the 3080 and all of its beauty and glory. We have the top fan that it's pulling the heat out from the bottom, and of course the other one is right here in the bottom, pushing the air outside of the case. Absolutely beautiful GPU. I think it looks outstanding, very premium looking, very heavy, all metal, a lot of fin array on top and the bottom. So if I sound like I'm way too excited about this graphics card, that's because I am. Been waiting for 15-16 months. I've never seen anything like that in my life, and it's been 25 years since I started building computers and doing computers, and this is the only time I've ever had to wait that long for a part, especially a graphics card, and not being able to buy it immediately. So yeah, of course I will be excited about it. So I think overall NZXT has done a tremendous job cable managing and setting up this specific build, routing the cables, tucking them away nice and easy. They've done a great job, and honestly I would have done everything they have done here in managing these cables and arranging the case. Everything looks very nice and clean. Always like this bar from NZXT right here that they put and cover the cables. Now with this specific case, the 510 flow, we have two included case fans. One is intake, 120 millimeter in the front. They placed it on the bottom, and then we have exactly the same fan placed on the back for exhaust. But I'm going to take these away, put two RGB intakes and one in the back. RGB, it's not really my thing, but my daughter loves it, so she's gonna love that. Plenty of space behind the fan. Right here, we have about an inch, at least an inch between the fan, pulling the air from the outside and the mesh. And the front fans, they're mounted in the removable frame. So if you unscrew these two screws, you'll be able to remove the frame, install these two fans, or AIO potentially. If you want to install 240 or 280 AIO, you can do this right here. But for the 11400F, this is absolute overkill, don't need to be done. So I'm gonna stick to just fans, keep them on lower RPM so they won't be too noisy, and do it this way. But great convenience to see with the frame, it's great. And if you wanna remove the front perforated mesh, there's two screws, one here, one on the other side. You can unscrew and take that off and just vacuum it and clean it. Very subtle NZXT branding on the front. I really like this black and white combination, I have to say, of this case. You can kind of see the fan inside, and then the next one will be on top. Again, you can install two 140 millimeters or two 120 millimeter fans, and one is in the back there for exhaust. And of course you can install one more on the roof for exhaust if you want to. Personally, I'm gonna probably use one of those just for exhaust on the top, and then the RGB ones, one in the back, two in the front. So yeah, we have this deep cool tower, which is doing an excellent job cooling the 11400F, which is not producing a lot of heat. The highest temperature I've seen it goes up to about 70 degrees, which is, you know, okay. Of course, when you're gaming, you're never gonna see these kind of temperatures. Clearly, the major selling point right here is the RTX3080. And if you guys are on the market of looking for one of those, if you don't wanna pay $2,000 just for the GPU and get massively scalped, just go ahead and order yourself one of those pre-built desktops. And if you don't need the rest of the desktop, just, you know, get the GPU and sell the rest of it. It's still gonna be a lot cheaper than paying resale or scalper prices. I am very impressed with the work that NZXT have done. Very impressed with the cable management, very impressed with the prices, and most of all impressed that they are able to supply an RTX3080 Founders Edition. I thought only Best Buy are the ones to sell it, but clearly NZXT somehow had their hands on FE cards as well, and they sell them in their pre-builds, which is excellent. If you look at the back of the case, right here we have a nice removable filter. This is a good mesh filter with plastic frame, reusable. If it's dirty, you can just go ahead and wash it, dry it out, and then slide it back into place very easily underneath your power supply right here. And like I mentioned, two screws only, one over here, one on the other side, identical. I removed them already, and all you need to do is just pull on both sides, and you'll see that perforated grill stays. All you need to do is just lift it up and take it away. I'm gonna put it down for a second just to show you the front. And you can see now you have a very easy access to all the installs inside. You have access to the fans. You can clean everything from here. And if I go to the mesh front, let me flip it around real quick and show you something. So the front is metal, the back is plastic, obviously. If you slide it down, you'll be able to kind of lift it off and clean it. Here it is. This is just the mesh part, the internal fine mesh that you can kind of vacuum or clean or whatever you want to do to take the dust off, because the outside perforations are quite big and wide, and they are not going to be stopping a lot of the small particles dust. And once you're done, just place it back in and push it down on the notches, and they'll be good to go. And then once you're done, you can just place the bottom where it is aligned, and even with one hand you can do it. Just press back here on the top until you feel the click, and that's it. Screw the screws back on and you'll be good to go. All right, conclusion time. And again, what can I say about this NZXT build or BLD, whatever they want to call it, desktop? I absolutely love it, and I think it's the best deal. Even currently, at the current price for $1,900, I think it's the best computer you can get to enjoy immediately and remove all the stress and hassle for you trying to hunt down a graphics card that you can use in your games and enjoy it. I mean, obviously the biggest selling point here is the RTX 3080 Founders Edition. Regardless of all the other features that I already mentioned, the aesthetics, the performance, the way it can fit in smaller builds, this is still one of the only few graphics cards that are FHR or full hash rate. For those of you that are interested in mining and stuff like that, the Founders Edition 3060 Ti, 3070 and 3080, obviously 3090, are still the only ones absolutely guaranteed. That is till May next year. I just read NVIDIA's statement. They're starting to produce Founders Edition 3060 Ti, 3070 and 3080 that are going to be LHR. So if you guys are into mining and stuff like that, you better go ahead and try to find one of those cards right now, because soon it will be too late, so you're not going to be able to use them. Just a word of advice, you know, I'm personally not mining, but I know a lot of you will have questions about that. This is one of the main selling points of this graphics card. That's why it's going over $2,000 on eBay, because this one can mine a lot of coins out there. And yeah, that's one of the major explanations about the pricing of this card. Yeah, personally, I don't care about that. I just absolutely love the way it looks. I always wanted to get one since the moment it was released. Patience pays off, and patience saves wallets. So after 15 months of waiting, I was finally able to get this pre-built. And of course, my plan for this pre-built is I'm going to give it to my daughter. Obviously, I'm going to get the card for myself. she already has a very good graphics card. She doesn't play too many demanding games out there. Maybe in a future video I will show you all the changes I've done for this desktop and how it looks, and I'm sure you guys are gonna love it. I think this case, especially in its form of flow with the front mesh, is definitely something to consider, especially in the pre-build. If you're buying it by itself, $100, it's a bit too much for it, especially the size. It's not the biggest. But for the pre-build, if you're going for this specific pre-build from NZXT, go ahead and select that case. I think last night I just saw it. It's back in stock, so you'll be able to select and get it. And the RTX3080 is still available, and they have the 3090 as well. Here and there, the 3070 is appearing as well. So keep an eye if you want to grab yourself a Founders Edition card. Like I mentioned, now it's the moment. Later it might be too late. But yeah, for the price, I think it's absolutely outstanding. Yeah, we're not getting top notch or top grade rest of components, but you're getting a card that overpasses everything else on looks, on performance, on pricing, and everything else. So my excitement was incredible when I saw that company like NZXT can actually offer you a Founders Edition card. That's pretty much it, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you're new. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the link in the description. That will help me tremendously to bring you videos like this for pre-builds, laptops, desktops, all kinds of hardware that you guys are going to be interested in. And as always, guys, you have a wonderful day.